Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind, these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Sunday, February 6th. We're going to take a look at SoFi, sort of get a sense of, how things closed out last week and what we might look for in the week ahead. Now, let me preface the entire video by saying, if we look at if we look at SoFi here and we get like IWC, for example, you'll notice these recent 5 candlesticks, which would represent the last trading week. It looks very similar, right? You see this pretty solid rise up here, and then a couple of other jumps up, and then some like pretty significant drawbacks, right? So, this is just to say, like, yeah, SoFi video, but I do still think, and I'm sorry, I've been saying this for weeks, and it's probably a bit annoying, but and it's annoying to me as well. I'd like stocks to be moving on their own individually, but I just think that SoFi is predominantly getting dragged around with the markets, and then either suffering the consequences or sometimes getting a bit of an added boost from any feelings of risk on or risk off in the market itself. So to me, it's just sort of getting jostled around with those things predominantly, but we might as well pop in and just get an updated sense of the levels. And even if it's just sort of like to reiterate, I figured I'd jump in and do it because I know the videos have been light lately. So just to sort of like reset ourselves, obviously we had a nice run up here, almost 12.5%, followed by over 6%, but then a pullback of over 8%, pullback of nearly 5%, and then an up day, as you see on Friday, of shy of 3%. So just really like whirlwind, right? These last 6 trading days, we've really seen like a big run up and then a big retracement, and basically just making what I used to call the sad face pattern, just this like really quick frown. But to get a sense of the levels and what I think is important, even though, like I said, I prefaced this all by saying, the overall market and the risk on, risk off sense of traders is going to largely determine where this goes, I think, as opposed to anything particular to SoFi. But the levels I still think are predominantly on the dollar and on the 50 cents. So think of 1308 as just $13, 1208 is just $12, and then I would just consider 1110 is just $11, and then I would just consider 1150, 1250, 1350. I guess for that matter, 1050, right? You see that playing out here, 1051. And hopefully it doesn't need it, but if it does, $10. So I'm mostly just considering the key levels on the dollar and on the 50 cents. And then beyond that, we are getting pretty close to this downtrend resistance that stems back here from this daily candle on January 20th and was topped off here on February 1st. And we've put in a few trading days since then. It held under there on that day where it dropped over 8%, and now it's sort of like consolidating here. So even if it continues to consolidate, it could sort of run into that level. So these are the 3 trend levels that I see that are most important. So besides the dollar and the 50-cent support and resistance levels, this downtrend, and then the next level in would be that, the one that was initiated on January 21st. Also, everything's peaking out, or is at least intersecting most recently with that February 1st candle. So you have that one here, and then this one here that's going to stretch through the 13s if it encounters that in the near future. So I'm really just mostly looking at those and focus on what that might play out like, how the candle and the trend will react if and when it encounters those levels. Now, if we continue to draw down, then that will probably just delay when it would encounter those levels, but it will come at some point, I would presume. The other thing that I would note here is, while we were making this big sad face, we did have distinctly more volume on these up days, and I don't know if that's just sort of folks predominantly trying to come in and buy dips, and so you would see this big uptick in volume on on the green days, and then the sell-offs being a little bit lighter. But you saw back here in January, like this was a heavy volume day. Although that was a green day. I hate it when Webull does this. I don't. If somebody knows it's just a settings thing that I have wrong, let me know, because I can't seem to figure it out. Like why this day apparently, as you see up here, was plus 13.68%, but it has it here as a red candle. Okay, sidetrack. But anyway, seeing the volume starting to slowly die off here, I'll be interested to see what's going to happen, even if it consolidates and the volume sort of continues to draw down or draw back. That could make it additionally interesting when it gets to this downtrend resistance. Since we're here and there's not a ton more to go on about, we can pull in some things that we haven't looked at in quite a while. The MACD for one. They changed this up. I haven't looked at this in quite a while, but you do see it basically flattening out here, right? So sort of waiting to see which way it wants to go, situated below the baseline at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if it can get some oomph going. There's definitely plenty of run room, as you would imagine. I think a lot of folks feeling that's pretty sold off. And situated, below the 50 level of the RSI, which, since we haven't talked about this in a while, that's mostly what I pay attention to. Because you see, like here, it rejected off of this when it got to 51.91, and then that was preceding this, pretty sizable sell-off. And also this glitch is still happening where it just disappears. But yeah, I would be most interested as if the RSI continues to rise, we continue to get some buying pressure coming in, what it does at the 50 level, like at or around. Because it could reject hard off of there and could signal that, maybe there's more drawdown to be had, or if it can work its way through the 50, then I would really hope that it could at least make a give it the old college try to get to 70 and put it into some overbought territory. Wouldn't be the worst thing for it, given the pretty challenging 1-year chart that we see here, right on this double peak, and then just tremendous sell-off. So that's where we are as far as I'm concerned. Most interested, like I said, to see what happens when we encounter this downturn resistance, whether we get there this week or the only way that we wouldn't get there this week, I would think, is if it continued to sell off pretty strongly. But we'll know soon enough how things are going to kick off, and the why and the what and the who now. So whatever happens, I hope that you're sort of like situating yourself and preparing yourself as best you can to handle whatever the market might bring to us. It's certainly extra wild times at the moment, and it definitely makes it for a lively trading week after week after week. All right, folks, so I hope your week starts off strong tomorrow, and as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.